All right, so who is ready to talk about making lots of money and lots of sales? All right, so first of all, before I jump into the first slide, the very first thing I ever sold when I was like a baby coach was a $5,000 package. And I didn't even have a checkout page for it, okay? So what I want to tell you right now is if you're not used to selling premium, anyone can sell premium, and it makes a lot of sense, so you're going to want to listen in. So today we're going to talk about what I like to call the other side of sales. I can give you scripts and things and funnels and all that stuff, but there's a million people who can do that. I want to teach you what the other side of sales is. So today we're going to talk about how to close $20,000 to $50,000 deals, breaking all the rules but one, without fancy funnels, ads, webinars, high pressure tactics, long sales calls, and you're still going to maintain, if you do it right, an 80% profit margin. So raise of hands, who is excited to learn about this? All right, awesome. All right, well, I don't think we need to talk about myself anymore because that was a really long bio, but I do like this brand photo that I took, so I'll give you a second there. All right. But basically, I love building wildly profitable businesses, and sales is my jam. All right, just a little really busy slide, actually. So the reason why I put $13,000 up there is that's not very many, right? That's not very many, but I have a multi-six-figure business, and I have since I started. So this is why premium is so important. And I'm behind a lot of people, a lot of major brands as their behind-the-scenes sales strategist, and it is super fun what I get to do. All right, so let's see if my video. Oh, can you turn the volume up? Thank you. Maybe. Okay, we'll go ahead. That's okay. All right, well, it's not very loud, so it's not very appealing here, but I want to tell you what this is. So Voxer is my favorite way to talk to my clients. Anybody on Voxer with their coach? And you can stop the place over there. Yeah, thank you. All right, okay. So anyway, that was Alicia, and she's amazing. She says, Michelle, as long as I'm around you, I know I'm going to make money, so I'm never going anywhere. You're like my lucky charm. And that's what she was saying in there, and so I put it through for the testimonial video, and it's just like, it's so fun because what I love to do, that's not gonna work, but the reason why I love that is because I love being people's cheerleaders. I think it's so fun. And at the end of the day, sales can be super scary for a lot of people, and I make people do scary shit. And then they're successful, and they love it, and they get addicted to making money and selling. And that is why I love what I do. So we are gonna break all of the rules, and I dearly, dearly love funnels, so do not get me wrong, but you do not need them to do this kind of success. So you don't need fancy funnels. You don't need long sales calls. Seriously, they suck the life out of you. You can get a raise of hands for that. You don't need high pressure sales tactics because it's brand damaging and you force sales and it's just a horrible end at the end of the day. You also can't stay in your comfort zone because if you're fishing in a crowded pond and not your own blue ocean, you're really, really screwing yourself up. So we're not going to do that anymore. All right, so here's the difference. First of all, if you're going to charge $20,000 to $50,000, you better know what you're doing. Okay, so that is the first prereq, is that you can deliver on your promises. This is absolutely crucial, absolutely crucial. And then after you deliver, you teach your clients how to spread the word. 2 is short, purposeful Zooms. And I'm very specific here and you'll see in a little bit, but it has to be Zoom. That's it. 30 minutes or less on Zoom. No phone calls, none of this other stuff. You need a Zoom. And I'll explain it in a little bit, okay? And trust me, no one wants to talk to you for 60 to 90 minutes, okay? So do everybody a service and keep them short. Also, you need to take the lead and win. High-paying clients want to meet their match. They don't want some subservient person on a call being like, I'm going to charge you $50,000. That's not going to work, okay? So you have to match them. Type A personalities, powerful people, they actually secretly love somebody else to take control. Okay? Because they're tired of always having to be in control. So if you remember this, it's incredibly powerful. Okay? And also go big or go home. Fish in your own blue ocean. Anyone familiar with red ocean, blue ocean? I hope so. Okay, awesome. So go blue, all right? It's wide open because you create the demand for it. Okay, so I want you to meet Kate. Kate is one of my mid 5-figure clients. And her sales are 15 times mine. So you might be thinking, well, then what the hell does Kate need Michelle for, right? And this is the thing, and this is when you play small, because it doesn't matter. If you have an expertise that you can help somebody else out with, you don't need to compare numbers and egos and all the other things, right? I'm really good at sales. And this is a really important thing for everyone to remember. The other thing is I actually didn't even know that this was going to be a sales call with her. So I thought she was just booking a connection call with me, came out of the blue, wasn't even really sure where it came from, frankly, and I got really, really sick, which I never get sick, and so I texted her like an hour before the call and said, sorry, I can't make it, we have to reschedule. Had no idea of what this would turn into, okay? Then what you have to do is you have to spend a little bit of time knowing who you're going to talk to. So when I did reschedule it, I spent 10 minutes. I opted into our funnel, and anybody who was sitting me on the limo ride on the way over here, you know what I do. So I opt into people's funnels, and I see where the problems are in the sales conversion, and I call them and I pitch myself. So 10 minutes on our funnel, and then we spent 30 minutes on the phone. I sent her a 3-paragraph email proposal. Okay, nothing fancy, no header, nothing. And I closed a mid-5-figure deal in 24 hours, and we weren't even gonna start for 45 days. That is freaking powerful. And I will tell you right now, Kate is not my only success story of this. It happens every single time like this without, I don't even worry about it anymore. I just know if we're on the phone, 30 minutes, we're good to go. And so I actually think on these types of deals when I'm selling, this is me acting as a fractional chief sales officer. So I go into someone's organization, I take over their sales team, I fix their leaks, I look at their numbers, all this stuff. Really heavy lift, but I absolutely love this work. And now I'm thinking about it, I think I have 100% close on those. So that's pretty amazing. And you can have this too if you're that type of consultant. All right, so then I was like, well, just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach people to do it, right? I mean, that's like the biggest test. So I have this client and she runs paid ad campaigns. And she was like, Michelle, I want to do that. I want to close a $50,000 deal. And I go, all right, let's figure it out. So within 20 minutes of coaching, she had this call, 30-minute Zoom call, did the same thing. She literally copy and pasted my 3-paragraph email with her own words and her own offer, and she closed it. And I goes, oh, all right, so I can teach it. I can do it and I can teach it. And that just keeps happening. So the biggest question I hope you're asking right now to yourself is, but how? This is wild. You're lying. There's no way this can happen. And the secret is in something that I call the status game. Yes, I think that is. Wait, status frame. Actually, that's a typo. The secret is sales is, it is. It's a status game. So if you take the lead, then this is what you can do. So status. So S is and this is for when you're having your conversation. So most people teach really, really lengthy sales scripts or syntaxes, and I do not. This is all you really need, and then you need to practice it, okay? So the first thing is stay focused on conversation framework that leverages ethical, psychological buying triggers. And I scream ethical because I will tell you right now, you fall along these sleazy things and this is what happens. It's brand damaging. Your lifetime value of your clients will go down and it has major consequences. Does it work? Yes, but then it will hurt you on the back. 2 for T is take the lead to establish authority and claim the power position. Okay, if you're going to charge $20,000 to $50,000, you better know what you're doing and act like it and deliver. So you absolutely have to take the power position during the conversation. A is for actively listening. And what this does is if you're a really, really good listener and you can ask really great questions, you subconsciously actually disarm the buyer. And disarming the buyer is the number one thing you do because people don't want to be sold to. So if you don't disarm people, there is no platform for a sale. And that builds that instant trust. Then T is for transfer your energy to the buyer to build selling momentum. Selling momentum is extremely, extremely important. And if you don't have it, you usually get hesitations or they don't seem very excited or it's like a longer sales cycle than you want. And honestly, what we want is deal velocity and size, not just one or the other. Because if things just sit in your pipeline, it's painful, right? So you want to move them through. U is for uncover their pain, not problems. And so that the buyer can, without doubt, feel like you're the only solution. Okay, this is really, really crucial. Lots of people can solve problems, right? But when you eliminate the pain, that is when you become the only person. And I will give you an example. So when people hire me to come in as a fractional chief sales officer, they might be like, oh, I want to increase my conversion rates. I want my deals to go faster. I don't understand why this isn't closing. Well, that's a problem, right? Like everybody would just agree, okay, that's a problem, right? But the pain is that the CEO is still acting like the freaking sales manager and can't actually step into her power or his power and actually be the visionary to grow their business because they're stuck, with the sales management role. And that is a huge burden. So that's actually the pain, right? And everything else follows along. And then lastly is sell with confidence to empower the buyer to take swift action. So when you ask for the sale at the end, you better be lit up, excited, and ready to get to work and confidently deliver the offer and the price. None of this, oh, I'll get back to you with pricing later. No! Oh my goodness. Now, if you have some kind of range that you need to figure out because you have to sit back and calculate and things like that, that's a different story. But if you hide away from talking about money face to face with someone, they're not going to pay you the premium and they're not going to do it quickly. All right, so that is the status frame because, and now I know why I did my slide that way, because sales is a status game, okay? So whoever has the higher status, the highest status will have the highest deal amount and the fastest deal velocity, okay? Deal velocity, sometimes I get like my sales terms kind of get me all excited, but velocity just means the speed of which it moves through a pipeline from the time that it's a lead until it's a client, okay? And I don't really know anybody else teaching it this way, and I freaking love it, and it is so easy to learn, but you can only learn it if you're practicing it, right? And so that's why I'm the hype woman with the plan, because I really encourage people to go here and to do this. Okay, so this is the deal, okay? The harsh truth about people, and this is why sales feels hard for some people, is that no one likes to be sold to, so guess what? You gotta stop sounding like a salesperson, all right? That's the number one thing. Number two, and the fastest way to stop sounding like a salesperson is don't talk about yourself. Nobody cares, right? Ask somebody else questions. Be interested, right? Don't be interesting, be interested. And that is the first way that you can do it. Two is people don't buy because they like you. Sorry, that's not why people buy. And actually, when you think that your friends are going to buy from you and you're not leveraging and blah, 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 like these are the people who ghost you, who like try to get free advice, never actually buy anything from you, all of these things, okay? That is not why people buy, okay? Now, it is fun to do business with your friends, but you respect your friend and that's why you buy, not because you're friends. Three, and this is why I love Zoom or you have to do it in person, is I actually have lessons in my programs that teaches you like the angles of your computer so that you actually like can exhibit power position like a stage authority. It's really, really crucial. Subconsciously, it communicates power to the buyer. So your body language, your tone, and your energy, they speak way louder than your words. So I could literally be singing right now, but because my body's moving and I'm making eye contact with people in the audience, you're gonna remember that. You can feel it, like I hope you can, right? And I can make as many mistakes as I want to up here, and you're still gonna walk away being like, wow, I think I really liked that. Yeah, she really knows what she's talking about, right? Okay, this is how important nonverbals are. All right, and this is the thing about selling though, all right? Number one is most people complain, so knock it off. So stop complaining that you have to sell. You're a freaking business owner, okay? And regardless if you have a sales team, you're always gonna be in some capacity of sales. And this is really, really crucial for you to remember. So you better find a way to like it, okay? Two is you have to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. This is so important. Rejection, objections, resilience, things don't go well, competitors, bratty people in the office. We were just talking about that in real estate offices, all of the things. So this is so crucial. And also just remember that the committed always find a way. The best salespeople, doesn't matter what your personality is. Like I remember when I first started, everyone's like, I'm introverted, so I can't sell. And I'm like, oh my God. Let me tell you, it is harder for an extrovert like myself to sell because I have to tell myself, don't talk, Don't talk. Don't talk, right? Introverts ask great questions. They rather someone else talk. And if you remember, that's part of my framework, okay? So it doesn't matter what your personality is. You can be extraordinary at sales. And it can be really fun. Okay, so how do you achieve this status, right? How do you start to work at this right now? So first of all, you got to deal with your own money issues. This is like the number one thing, right? Well, usually if you don't want to charge a premium, but you're totally capable of and delivering on results, it's your own money issues, okay? So number one, resolve your own money issues. 2, identify and compartmentalize your drama, stress, and trauma, okay? All of this stuff shows up in every single one of your sales communications, okay? That means I can smell it on a social media post, okay? Most people can if they're really attuned to these things. So it's incredibly important. I'm not saying we all have stuff, but where that stuff doesn't belong is in sales. So find a way to compartmentalize it, be aware of it, and leave it out. And then the next thing is you have to be high vibe. Now, you don't have to be like me, right? Like, I have a unique personality, and some of you might be thinking, but Michelle, I'm not like that. Like, that's not my personality. I was like, no, you all have your own highest vibe, and you need to lock that in and be 100% authentic to it. If someone who wasn't like me tried to act like me, they're not gonna make any sales, okay? So you have to be 100% yourself. Your energy, I always say your energy will either attract ideal clients or repel them, 100% of the time. Next is you need to stop making assumptions. Assumptions kill deals, it kills your confidence, it basically kills everything. So your thoughts influence others even when it's never spoken, okay? So whatever's going on up here, you might as well just say it because we can all see it, okay? Next is wake up early and treat your mind and your body like it's the only one you've got, because it is, right? And in order to be, I'm really excited actually. I have a journal and a workbook coming out on Amazon, High Performance Sales Habits, and it's my 90-day method to increase your baseline and your capacity. And this is a really, really big part of it. I'm not saying you have to be a bodybuilder, but you have to take care of yourself because you have to be at this peak level to keep up with demands of what selling takes, okay? Next is sell your genius, okay? And I don't remember who I was talking to earlier. Oh, it was the social media, remember? You're when you're interviewing a contractor, right? And you're like, oh, so what do you do? And she's like, SEO, social media, branding, websites. And I loved what you said. So she stopped her in her tracks and she says, well, what are you really good at? I want to know about that, right? And I think
for your chat, this was their inline conversation.
No, this was so good, right? Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was amazing, and it's so important, right? I could be up here and I could probably teach people how to I don't know, do public speaking or something. I think I'm pretty good at it. But what my genius zone is this. So this is where I go, right? And then please deliver on your promises. Please, 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 please. Next is to commit to personal excellence and settle for nothing else. And be careful here, I did not say perfection, because that doesn't exist, it's boring, and it'll just make it harder for you to sell. So I want you to commit to personal excellence because that is fun and that lets you enjoy the journey. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about, because I said in the beginning, is why is this so profitable? This is the thing. When you work this model, your client acquisition is extremely inexpensive. As you create frameworks for coaching and delivery, then you can charge more, get faster client results, and spend less time working. I remember when the trend of VIP days came out a couple of years ago, and they're flying off the shelves, and I was like, oh, that's great. I'll charge $10,000 for a day. That sounds fantastic, right? But I remember when I did my first one, I literally probably lost money on it because it took me so much time to figure out my systems. But I needed somebody to go through it in order to figure out the systems, right? Then I 10x'd the next time because I had everything down and it was systemized and it was automated. It was all these things, right? So when you can do this, then you can speed up time and make more money. And if done correctly, I have calculated with myself and my clients that you can get up to an 80% profit margin, which is huge, right? And we all want that. It's not just about making sales, it is also what you're paying yourself and your team and how you're building wealth. So the thing is that you can do this, but you have to want it. You have to want it more than your sales coach, right? You have to really, really, really want it. And I want you to break every single rule out there that you've heard, except never ever break the status frame. And this is my invite if you would like to experience what having a hype woman with a sales plan feels like. I do these workshops every month, and I usually charge for them, but anyone here who wants to scan my beautiful QR code can come to my next one. My next one is on February 10th, and it is for sales prospecting. Who's excited? So I'm going to teach you how to spend 60 minutes a day sales prospecting, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm really looking forward to the next few days.